My name is Marvin K. Smith, and it is my privilege and honor today to interview my father, Marvin M. Smith, for the Idaho State Bar Distinguished Lawyer Award. Before we get started, I just want to say that I have the distinct privilege that I've been able to practice law with my father, and it's been a very fun and rewarding experience for me, and one that not everybody gets to do. And so I just want to say that I've been very happy to be able to practice law with him over this last decade or so. And so just to start off, could you just please tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of a little bit about where you grew up in your childhood?
Yes, I grew up in Lehi, Utah. My siblings and I represented the fifth generation of our family who lived and resided in Lehi, Utah. Looking back, of course, I believe it was idyllic, and I romanticized it because it was everything that a young man would ever want: freedom of movement, not a lot of crush of population. So it was just, as I said, a very exciting and good life for a young man to grow up with scouting, sports, and friends and family that everyone had known for 4 or 5 generations.
Now, during your legal career, you've had the distinct experience of practicing law in the private sector, and then going and serving as a magistrate and district judge, and then returning back to the private practice of law. What did you enjoy most about serving as a judge, and what have you enjoyed most about private practice?
Well, judging was a very good experience for me. I always remember when I was invested with the judgeship, an old lawyer coming up to me and reminding me that the first rule for a judge was to assist people in solving problems and making life easier. I tried to do that as a judge, wasn't always possible. And in practicing law, you're really doing the same thing, trying to assist people in their problems, albeit from a different perspective and a very different vantage point. But those are the things I most enjoyed, trying to figure out a problem, how to resolve the problem, and hopefully trying to result in a resolution that is best for the person who is either in front of you as a judge or as your client.
What's one of the most memorable cases you've ever handled or presided over during your legal career?
Well, of course, the one that always comes to mind is the American cyanamide case, which was a jury trial that lasted over 6.5 months. Involved a lot of different complicated legal issues, and every day involved a motion practice. So at the same time, it was exhausting, stressful, but very rewarding to see really good lawyers on each side working very hard and zealously for their clients, maintaining a civility and a cordiality that I like to always think that we have here in Idaho, and then a jury working very hard for a result.
I think the American cyanamide case, at the time at least, was the longest civil jury trial in Idaho, wasn't it?
That's what I was told by the Supreme Court at the time. I know that when we shipped off the boxes to the Supreme Court, it basically filled up an entire small room because of the pleadings and the paperwork that had been done in that case. And by the way, I was affirmed, so I have another little point on that case.
So what areas of the law have you most enjoyed practicing over your career?
Well, the easy answer would be the one that you and I to this day are mostly involved with, which should be medical malpractice defense. That because it's a very legally and intellectually challenging area of the law, and because of the various moving parts in a medical malpractice case, the expert witnesses, the fact witnesses, trying to get everything right to comport with the statutes that govern this area of the law. But I've got to tell you, sometimes when you think back, sometimes the warm glow when you, for instance, I was able to get the charges dismissed against a couple of fellows who had been charged with guiding without a license, and I was able to show that they were completely entrapped. So there's a moment of, I guess, I don't want to call it joy, but it's real satisfaction when you've done a job well done in any area, especially in the area of criminal law, where you're talking about a man's liberty or a person's liberty. And those cases where I was able to get charges dismissed, those really stayed with me.
So, what activities or organizations have you been involved with outside of your law practice?
Well, the ones that spring to mind, of course, is junior league basketball, where I was able to coach a bunch of young men and win the regional championship for the little organization that we were. We played the finals down in Salt Lake, but it represented the regional area of Utah, Idaho, and Montana. So that was very fulfilling. Helped coach Little League, was on the Museum of Idaho board for a period of time, probably approximately 10 years on and off, and saw the Museum of Idaho grow from a little parochial artifact driven little museum to what I consider a statewide museum that offers exhibitions from around the world. So that was very satisfying. Also was very involved with my church's organizations, youth groups, other groups. And so good way to fill up your time is with those type of activities that I hope assisted people and hopefully changed some of their lives.
Well, I can't think of, I might be a little biased, but I can't think of anybody more well deserving of this honor. And I'm glad you're receiving it this year. But before we go, did you have any final comments?
Well, as I told Mr. Cooper when he called me, when he advised me of this award and honor, I told him very undeserving when I think of all the wonderful practitioners around the state, but I'll accept it just as a token on behalf of other old lawyers who have gone into court, done what they've had to do, and abided by the results. I think that our profession is a great profession. Whether you're a judge or a lawyer, as I said, hopefully we're looking for solutions. And it's a profession that actually changes lives. And in some cases, it's life or death. And sometimes we forget or appreciate, but what we do actually does change lives and rotates the direction of people's lives and where they're going and what they're doing. So I'm very honored to be part of this profession. I'm very honored to have associated with a number of great lawyers during my time of practice. I've learned a great deal from all of them. I was able to learn a great deal from judges in my early career. It's a little different than it is now. When I first started, judges would come and invite you back to their chambers and tell you what you were doing wrong and what you were doing right. And I'll always remember some of the sage advice I got from Judge Ward, Judge Hargraves, Judge Oliver, and Judge Kramer. All of those fellas did a great deal of service to me in pointing out things that I wasn't doing so well and things that I could do better and things that I did well. And it was a rewarding experience. So just a tip of my hat to those fellows and some of the lawyers who have helped me along the way. Without them, I would have been an abject failure. So thank you for the opportunity of saying that.
Well, thanks. It's been fun interviewing you today.
Well, I was going to say that I have received most of the benefit of our association. As I stated in my article, without my son, I wouldn't know which office I was supposed to go to in the morning and what work I should be doing that day. So my thanks again to my son.
Thanks.